Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports podcast that does not apologize for championship rings and tings. I am your host, Ross Bolen, and I am here today to reluctantly discuss what may be the quintessential loss of the Houston Texans 2022 season. I am talking, of course, about this past Sunday's matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. I have been emotionally disconnected from the Texans all season long. But I saw we had a matchup with the Cowboys in Jerry World. I knew that if we somehow found a way to win this game, we would destroy Dallas's playoff chances. And having kept up with the Texans' inadequacy all season long, despite my best efforts to pretend they don't exist, because of the 17-point spread, I was financially invested as I bet the Cowboys minus 17 to try and bring myself some level of joy when we inevitably got blown the fuck out. I figured we'd lose by at least 21 points after the Browns game, where they didn't even need an offensive touchdown to beat us 27-14. Of course, we did not get blown the fuck out against the Cowboys, as the Texans decided to do the most Texans-y shit ever, and just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. They made us all think they had a chance to really pull it off. They ran out 3 different quarterbacks, which somehow actually fucking worked, and it looked like we were actually going to win this game against all odds until, you guessed it, we fucking didn't. We lost again in the most heartbreaking fashion possible, essentially, taking a 23-17 lead into the fourth quarter and then putting up a goose egg in the final frame, including a failed possession that started in the fucking red zone as the result of an interception from which we walked away with 0 points. 0 points, running 4 plays inside the 5-yard line. Do you realize how difficult that is to do? Then Dak Prescott and the boys put together a 98-yard drive to take a 4-point lead, and then Davis Mills threw a Hail Mary into a pile of Cowboys to close things out, and I cannot believe I let myself get pulled back in to giving a shit about this absolute embarrassment of a franchise. I know better. I've warned you all season long to keep your expectations as low as humanly possible, and when it was all said and done, I couldn't help myself. Something about the Cowboys and Dallas and my genuine hatred for that team and city played a big role in that, but oh my God, like that Rex Burkhead run call was among the worst in the history of a franchise, marred by absolutely dog shit play calling. Again, really, really saying something. And look, I half-assedly defended Lovie Smith this season, mostly on Twitter, arguing that nobody could make this team look good with the personnel that we have. But after this game, I've changed my mind. Fire everyone. Fire Lovey, fire Pep or Pip or whatever the fuck his name is. Just disband the franchise. Let's all watch the Dynamo or something instead. There are too many other teams in Houston. The Cougars basketball team, for example, that we could use this time and energy on. How the fuck, I repeat, how the fuck is it that 11 games into the season, into what is, like, by and large been described by everyone, from the fans to the media, to the local media, to the national media, as a lost season for the Texans? How is it that we get 11 games into this shit, and then we decide to use a 3-headed monster of mediocre quarterbacks? And again, it somehow threw off the Cowboys' defense enough to sort of look like it worked. There's no chance in hell that works again, by the way. That was it. We had one shot of running out Davis Mills, Kyle Allen, and Jeff Driscoll? I didn't even know Jeff Driscoll was on our fucking team, which is why it worked against the Cowboys. They probably didn't know either. Jeff Driscoll, Kyle Allen, and Davis Mills. I don't know that there are 3 more depressing names you could put in a row at the quarterback position, and yet that's what we're working with here. And somehow, some way, it almost worked. We almost did it. We almost destroyed the Dallas Cowboys season. Unfortunately, almost isn't good enough. Almost, as it is said, only counts with horseshoes and hand grenades. Also, I have something to say to hybrid Cowboys-Texans fans. Fuck you. You are the absolute worst. I can't believe you got to walk away from this game happy. You should be a miserable prick just like me. It's not fair. It's completely irrational to be a fan of both teams, and you are the worst kind of sports fan. Eat shit. Eat shit and die. You're seriously the worst. And I know too many of you. I know too many people who went into this game like, yeah, well, either way, I win. Fuck that. Fuck that. I sat there on my couch for 3 fucking hours watching this nightmare unfold. I can't believe you get to be satisfied on some level. And by the way, Cowboys fans, a win is not a win. Most of the time in the NFL, that may be true. Oh, any given Sunday, yeah, sure, whatever. But for all the Cowboys fans who are like, it's fine, it doesn't matter that we almost choked to one of the worst teams in NFL history, a win is a win. Fuck that. You were at home. A win is not a win. We all lost this game. All of us, and you know it. I lost, you lost, the Cowboys lost, the Texans lost, the commentators lost, the NFL lost. Everyone lost this game. It was embarrassing for both teams somehow. It was the ultimate Texans-Cowboys game. I'm not sure we will ever get a better one in terms of just generally serving as a microcosm of both pathetic franchises. And if you're on the Cowboys bandwagon and you're like, this is the year, we're going to do it. When is the last year you didn't feel that way? And you've been wrong every fucking year since like 1993. It's not happening. It's not fucking happening. If you can't pound out the pathetic Texans at home, you think you're going to roll into the fucking NFL playoffs and do anything of note? It's not happening. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. You don't have whatever that it factor is that winning NFL teams need to be able to get past their conference championship and into the Super Bowl and win one. It's not fucking happening. I see you. I know you're looking at your record going, yeah, but we've won 11 games or however many. It doesn't fucking matter. Do you remember the time the Texans went like 12-4 in the regular season with Matt Schaub, and then we got the doors blown off of us in the playoffs? That's what you've got waiting for you. You're frauds. You're fakes. And nothing has proven it more clearly than the matchup against the Texans this past Sunday, where you somehow almost lost. And I'm more pissed. I hate the Cowboys now more than ever as well for allowing me to feel like, holy shit, we might be able to ruin their fucking playoff chances. And then no, just to put together a 98-yard drive on the last fucking possession. What is wrong with you? God damn it. You couldn't give us this. You're just going to blow it anyway. You could have at least given us this. Ugh. Disgusting. That was, I feel like an idiot. That's where a lot of my rage is coming from. Like I said, I know better. I've been a fan of this team for too long. I was a season ticket holder for too many years. And they all ended the exact same way. And this season, where we've won a total of 1 game, as many as we've tied, what are we, 1-11 and 1 or something? I should have known better. We're pathetic, inadequate, losers. That's what, and look, I don't even know who to blame. That's the most frustrating thing about being a Texans fan in 2022. It's like, what? Who do you point the finger at? Cal McNair? I'm getting sick of pointing at that mustachioed fuck. Lovie Smith, he's a likable guy. He's a terrible coach, but he's a likable guy. Who the fuck do I even get angry at now? The answer is me. I'm angry at me more than anyone else for letting myself just for a day, just for one afternoon, to buy back in and pretend that we had even a plausible hope of making this upset happen. It would have been the biggest upset of the season. And I still can't believe when it was all said and done, it was just like every other game we've had. We lost. Minus the 1 or the 2. The tie felt like a loss too, though. We just suck. We suck. We stink. We're sad. If I had a paper bag to wear over my head for this podcast, I would have worn it. But I don't, because paper was banned in Austin at the grocery stores. So it was plastic that was banned. I guess we still have paper. If I had a plastic bag, I would wear that over my head too. Suffocate the life from my own body, just to ensure that I never have to watch another Texans game ever again. I hate them. I hate this shit. It's so fucking frustrating. Losing every single Sunday. Wrecked my Sunday. Ruined the whole Sunday. The Lord's Day. The first day of the week. The whole week is shot now. Absolutely pathetic loss. Speaking of losing, we have to talk about Deshaun Watson's return to NRG Stadium. This game, it's the one that made me bet on the Cowboys. When I saw the 17-point spread, I went, nope, that's not enough because of the Browns game. It was 7-5 Browns at the half. 7-5. That's a fucking baseball score. 7-5 Browns at the half. We lost 27-14 when it was all said and done. And as I said earlier, the Browns did not score a single offensive touchdown. Not one. Here's how they scored. Field goal. Pick six. Field goal. Kyle Allen fumble taken 4 yards to the house. A whopping 4 yards. Donovan Peoples-Jones punt return for 76-yard touchdown. It was, out of all the unwatchable games this season, perhaps the least watchable. Kyle Allen was 20 for 39 with 2 interceptions and a touchdown, which led to the inevitable return of Davis Mills, and then the ridiculous addition of Jeff Driscoll into the mix. I can't even believe I'm having to say these fucking words out loud. What are we doing? I'm not one of these sell the team people who yell sell the team, Cal. Do you understand that that's not how it works? If he sells the team is probably leaving because it's being bought by some billionaire that's likely not a Houstonian and will want to move the team. Which I don't even know if anybody would complain at this point. It would suck. We don't want to go back to that place. Not having a team is worse than somehow having the worst team. But oh my God, we are truly, truly terrible. And that was back-to-back atrocious games for all of us in this cursed fan base. Maybe we should have just left well enough alone. When the Oilers walked, maybe we should have just moved on. All of us could have just paid double the attention to college football or something. Because I don't know if this is worth it. I know it's not worth it. Listen to me. I'm miserable. A piece of my soul died watching those 2 games back to back. The first, again, haven't watched shit this season other than the highlights, the important plays, reading recaps, the Houston Chronicle, etc. Because I'm not trying to have my Sunday be marred by this mess. But the storyline of Deshaun Watson returning to NRG Stadium, I wanted to see how the response would be, and it was pretty glorious, no lie. Good booing from the, 8,000 fans that attended. A lot of really funny T-shirts. The funniest probably being the one that was, it was Deshaun Watson with Bill Cosby's head on his body. I found that to be entertaining. But on the whole, when it was all said and done, I hated myself for watching. Not a single offensive touchdown, and we lost 27-14. How the fuck? And then the fuel from that game led me to believe certainly the Cowboys, who this season have tricked me prior to Sunday. They tricked me. I was like, holy shit, maybe this is the season Cowboys fans really get their payoff. Maybe this is the season they actually are competitive in the playoffs. But now that I've seen what they failed to do against the Texans, nah, I'm sorry, Dallas. It's just, no. You too are cursed. Cursed to your core. And sad more than anything else. But somehow the Texans feed even further into the Dallas delusion by blowing it in the end and giving them a reason to believe. Just the dumbest fucking game in the history of football. What in the hell was that? Moving on to the Astros, or Astros-related news, I should say. We've been waiting for weeks to get our answer on what would happen with Justin Verlander, noted two-time Cy Young, two-time World Series champion as a Houston Astro. And as I said repeatedly on this podcast, very unlikely that he was going to re-sign with the Astros. There was too big of a bag to be chased elsewhere. And as I said on this podcast, it looked to me most likely like the New York Mets would be the people to hand him that bag. And indeed, they were. It made the most sense for me from both perspectives. I mean, the Mets lost their guy to the New York Rangers, or to the, that's hockey, to the Texas Rangers. I don't even like acknowledging Arlington. And they needed somebody. So they got Verlander, who's good, and I'm happy that he went there. The Mets aren't a threat. The misery would have come if he signed with the Yankees or some shit. But the Mets? I just don't care. I just don't care. So him and Kate Upton get to go to New York City and enjoy the Big Apple and all that comes with it, which is a great place to end your career, frankly, if you're them, if you're the Verlander Uptons. And he gets paid. He's got 2 years for, $85 million or whatever it is, and then a third-year player option. Good deal for Verlander. We weren't going to give him that kind of money. We don't need to give him that kind of money. We did not need to bring him back. That's the thing that has been well established. And yes, he had an incredible 2022 regular season. Unbelievable, obviously. Won a Cy Young, again. But as I've said before, he was the most anxiety-producing pitcher on our staff when the playoffs came around. And we've got too many other good arms. Great arms. And just like when we let Carlos Correa walk so that we could replace him with Jeremy Pena, we've got Verlander's replacement. His name is Hunter Brown. And he's much, much younger and cheaper. And that is how you continue to win and how you build a dynasty, which is what the Astros have been doing for 6 fucking years now. So if you're upset about Verlander going to the Mets, you need to check back in with reality. It's fine. This is best case scenario for both parties, in my opinion. He doesn't go to a rival. He doesn't go somewhere that we're going to have to really be concerned about facing him in the postseason. It's the fucking Mets. When is the last? The Mets are like the Cowboys of the MLB. Their fans think every year, oh, we're going to do. No, you're fucking not. You're the Mets. You stay in your Mets hole. Now you just have a big, shiny Cy Young winning pitcher to, at least soften the blow. And it's fun having Verlander on your team. Enjoy, Mets fans. Enjoy the awkward interviews with him and Kate Upton in the postgame where you can't even tell if they're drunk because they're so goddamn strange. That was one of my favorite things about having Verlander on the team, was seeing Kate, just the most absolutely awkward human being possible, rolling out there and saying weird shit in the postgame interviews. Verlander to the Mets. I'm kind of glad that we finally get to close the book on this chapter of the Houston Astros history, because it was a great one, and I wanted it to end in a way, we're on a positive, happy note. And I felt, like I said, I feel like we all win here, unlike in the Texans-Cowboys game where we genuinely all lose. So congratulations to the Verlanders, and enjoy your stay in New York City. Just to acknowledge this very quickly, because it ties back into the state of the Texans franchise and generally the history of the shit franchise that is the Houston Texans. Brittany Griner finally freed, right, from Russian prison in exchange for the Lord of War, the Merchant of Death, whatever the fuck his name, Victor something or other, the gun runner. And one of the prevailing jokes that came from that situation, first of all, welcome home. I'm happy as hell that she got out of there. Complicated for a number of reasons, obviously, a lot of which I spoke to on my comedy show, the Ross Bolen podcast, if you want to go get more takes on that. But the one take I did want to touch on today is that the internet roasted Joe Biden, President Biden, comparing him to Bill O'Brien. You remember Bill, our last head coach, the one who traded away Hall of Fame talent for peanuts like it was the reason he was there. Remember? DeAndre Hopkins, Jadeveon Clowney. We waved bye-bye to J.J. Watt during his tenure, I believe. Everybody, but Hopkins being the biggest, oh my God, what the fuck guy, how could you let this happen moment, maybe in the history of the whole team, which is, again, really, we just keep finding a way to one-up ourselves. Every season, we get a little more disappointing. Every season, a little more frustrating. Every season, my blood pressure rises, and I can't fucking take it anymore. But we're a meme. Bill O'Brien jokes coming as a result of what people were obviously pointing to as a very lopsided trade, a WNBA player in exchange for who took cannabis to Russia in exchange for a notorious gun runner whose nickname is the Merchant of Death. The jokes were there to be made, but I didn't see Bill O'Brien getting inserted into the situation just to kick a fan base when they're down, bring up another one of the worst tenures in the history. It's like, do we even have a good? In hindsight, Gary Kubiak, that whole tenure was the best thing we've ever had as Texans fans. Which, if you thought that was, man, when that ended, I thought surely things would get better from here. Nothing against Gary, he was great. Especially in hindsight. God, I would kill for the days of going 12-4 in the regular season and then getting blown out by the Chiefs or Patriots in the playoffs at this point. It was so, at least there was a reason to watch until there wasn't. Now it's just like, I'm grasping at straws. It's Deshaun Watson's return and the chance to ruin the Cowboys' playoff chances. Those are the only two things that can get me to watch a Texans game at this point because it's just pure fucking misery. It's hell on earth. Ugh. To end on a positive note, the Houston Rockets have looked like more fun the last several games. I've enjoyed the highlights. Jesus Christ, is it baseball season yet? I just want to watch the Astros again. I want to watch a championship contending franchise, a championship winning franchise with Houston across their chest. Again, please, God, make it March so we have baseball again. And the Rockets keep going on the little, 3-game win streaks, and I'm like, please stop it. Even though it's been more fun, and I know we've had some good wins, beating the Bucks was awesome. The team has looked more youthful and has that spark that you would expect in a team that's this young and in a rebuilding phase. But we need another lottery pick. We need it. We need it like we need sunshine in Houston and in Austin, Texas, where I am right now, because the weather has been absolutely shite this entire fall into winter, whatever this is. I don't even know what season you would call this. It's just gloomy and gray, and it's just disgusting. And I need something. I'm out here reading Astros off-season coverage on a daily basis at this point, which is like, not to hate on everybody who lives that life, but I got too much shit going on. That's the only sports positive I can turn to, though. And Rockets Twitter and Rockets fans in general are just too negative. Like, there's too much negativity, which is why I'm not trying to harp on the Rockets today, because I love the Rockets. I'm a massive fan. I'm wearing my NBA Jam, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr. shirt as we do today's podcast. But this season on the whole has been another frustrating season as a Rockets fan, because you just don't really see the momentum until this last couple weeks where you can kind of see the spark, and that has made me a little happy, which is my positive note for today's show, because there aren't that many. There aren't that many, because the Texans have sucked all the positivity out of my body. sucked me dry, baby. And I'm in a dark place. As you can tell. I'm going to have to schedule an extra therapy session just to recover fully emotionally from that Cowboys letdown that I never should have been emotionally invested in the first place. But I fucked up. And I'm sorry to myself. I let my teammates, my family, my friends down, my followers, my listeners. And I'm going to have to build back stronger, wiser, and know better next time, as I should have this time. We just stink. It's so bad. 3 fucking quarterbacks? Oh. Did we even run the Wildcat? That's the only reason I could see a team purposefully, without an injury occurring, rolling out 3 quarterbacks. Because you have some fucking crazy Wildcat shit that you're running. I don't even think we did that. Not with those 3 names. Davis Mills, Kyle Allen, Jeff Driscoll. I just don't even know what to say. And I'm sorry. Because this is a show about, it's a talk show. I'm supposed to talk. But I've got nothing. Nothing else but negativity and sadness and some light humor sprinkled in for you today. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Banging the Can, on TikTok at Banging the Can, where you can see clips of our show, and on Instagram at Banging the Can. It's the same everywhere, at Banging the Can. I'm Ross Bolen. Follow me at WR Bolen on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter in particular, if you're trying to see me melt down during Texans games. I think I fired off like 35 tweets during Texans-Cowboys, which is the most I've tweeted during a Texans game the entire season by far. And at one point I said the 17-point spread was disrespectful to the Cowboys, and I was wrong about that. I'm wrong sometimes, not often. But everything about this Sunday I was wrong. The whole way through, even when I flipped back to it not being disrespectful to the Cowboys, to it being disrespectful to the Texans, I was wrong about that too. It was just everything. We all lost, like I said. At Banging the Can everywhere. BolenMedia.com to check out the company, my small business, run out of Austin, Texas. What else? The Ross Bolen Podcast is my comedy and mental health show you can find wherever you listen to or watch Banging the Can. By the way, full episodes of this podcast, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever audio platform, you can also watch in full on youtube.com/@bangingthecan. Get in there and enjoy. I'll be back soon. God, I hope something good happens between now and then. Anything for the love of all that is good and decent. Give me something positive to work with. Please, outside of college sports, please, God. I need something. I don't even know who the Texans play next week. I don't fucking care. I'm not even going to look it up. And I'm damn sure not betting on that game. I can't believe I allowed myself to think we would first get blown out by more than 17, then second actually win. Then I'm just so disappointed in me. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all of you. But I'll be back soon. And until next time, as always, H-Town, stay down.